all the attention that you've gotten?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point I'm pretty used to it, and I always tell people, like, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I'm happy to do media before every single game, especially when we're on the road, and there's a lot of people that maybe this is their first time getting to see us play, or all of you maybe the first time. Obviously, it's my first time in San Francisco, so I try to look at it in the best possible manner that I can, and it's still fun for me, and there's a lot of people that would want to be in my shoes and have those types of opportunities, and I think it's always good to remind yourself, like, there's always eyes on you, and I think my mom is.
That single moment tells you almost everything you need to know about why Caitlin Clark dominates sports media in a way we haven't seen before in women's basketball. She understands what it means to carry the spotlight. She understands influence. And most importantly, she understands that silence is also a form of communication. On January 1st, Clark reminded everyone of that. After staying unusually quiet throughout the offseason, her first social media post of 2026 wasn't celebratory or generic. It wasn't a brand partnership or a polished statement. It was a blunt, unapologetic critique of officiating during an Iowa Hawkeyes game. Her words were simple and sharp. That charge is not remotely close to being a charge. No emojis, no qualifiers, no softening the message. Within 48 hours, the post racked up more than 339,000 views and over 100 comments. And that reaction wasn't accidental. Clark has always been vocal about officiating, dating back to her college career. The difference now is scale. She's no longer just a great player with strong opinions. She's the most visible figure in women's basketball. Every comment she makes carries weight far beyond the game she's commenting on. Fans immediately leaned into the moment. Some joked about Caitlin versus the refs, 2026 round 1. Others teased her ongoing rivalry with officiating crews, suggesting it clearly wasn't part of her New Year's resolutions. But beneath the humor was something more serious: engagement. This wasn't controversy manufactured by media outlets. It was organic. One tweet, one opinion, and the internet responded instantly. That's influence. Clark didn't need to be playing. She didn't need a press conference. She simply spoke, and the basketball world listened. What makes this moment significant isn't the call itself. It's a reminder that Clark doesn't separate herself from the sport when the season ends. She watches, she reacts, she holds opinions, and she's willing to express them publicly, even when it invites debate. That authenticity, whether people agree with her or not, is exactly why she commands so much attention.
Defense, another day, another clown show for the officials. Yes, now the WNBA referees has had their share of highlight moments, I should say, in the last couple years. Caitlin Clark has definitely been vocal, but she's been extremely vocal when it comes to college. We've seen her crash out on a lot of NCAA referees, and it looked like even though she's in the WNBA, she's not stopping that. Now, moving on to another story, we have to talk about the current situation with the Indiana Fever, man. The Indiana Fever is...
Caitlin Clark's influence doesn't stop with her own social media account. It extends directly into the team she touches, and the numbers make that impossible to ignore. As of January 1st, the Indiana Fever's Instagram following had surged to nearly 1 million followers. That figure alone reshapes how we think about franchise growth in the WNBA. To put that into context, consider the rest of the league. The Las Vegas Aces, a dynasty with championships and established stars, sit around 600,000 followers. The Chicago Sky hover near 500,000. The New York Liberty, fresh off a title run and featuring players like Breanna Stewart, are closer to 300,000. Expansion franchise Golden State Valkyries, backed by massive investment, have roughly 280,000. The Fever didn't grow gradually over a decade. This explosion happened in less than 1 year, almost entirely after drafting Caitlin Clark. That isn't normal. It isn't organic growth from years of success. It's the effect of a transformational star. Clark didn't just bring attention to herself. She elevated the visibility of an entire franchise almost overnight. The Fever now outpaced championship teams, expansion projects, and historic organizations in digital reach. Social media numbers aren't everything, but they reflect engagement, curiosity, and cultural relevance. People follow accounts they care about. And right now, more people care about the Indiana Fever because Caitlin Clark wears that jersey. This kind of dominance forces a shift in how the league thinks about marketing, branding, and exposure. It proves that individual star power can dramatically accelerate growth when paired with opportunity. The challenge for the WNBA is figuring out how to replicate that momentum across the league without diluting what makes it special. Clark's presence has rewritten expectations. Teams that once celebrated incremental growth are now being compared to the Fever's meteoric rise. And that comparison isn't theoretical, it's visible, measurable, and impossible to dismiss.
Instagram. Media. It really, really should. Somebody said the Indiana Fever is so blessed to have Caitlin Clark. I don't know what this is. It says January 1st, Instagram 2026. Wow. It says WNBA Instagram followers on January 6th. Indiana Fever currently is almost at 1 million. The Aces at 600,000. Chicago Sky 500. Los Angeles Sports 4. The New York Liberty 4. Now, the New York Liberty is one of the highest grossing franchise. Dallas Wings only at 300,000. They got Paige Beckers. Golden State Valkyries, which I thought they'll have way more. They had 280. Atlanta Drain 277. Minnesota Lynx 250.
The fan reaction to that tweet revealed something critical. People are paying attention to everything Caitlin Clark does, even when it has nothing to do with her current team or league. She wasn't playing in that Iowa game. She wasn't involved in the outcome. Yet her opinion instantly became sports news. That level of influence transcends leagues, seasons, and uniforms. But while fans were debating college officiating online, a much larger story was unfolding behind the scenes, one with serious implications for the WNBA. As of January 3rd, the league was roughly 6 days away from a critical point in collective bargaining agreement negotiations. And timing matters. When the most powerful voice in women's basketball publicly criticizes officiating, even indirectly, it sends a message. Clark has never hidden her frustrations with WNBA referees either. Last season, there were multiple moments where she visibly questioned calls, spoke up during games, or expressed dissatisfaction after whistles she believed were wrong. Her off-season tweet wasn't a departure from that behavior. It was consistency. The question now becomes whether that consistency helps or complicates the league's position. The WNBA is negotiating a new CBA that could reshape salaries, revenue sharing, travel conditions, and long-term league structure. At the same time, its biggest star is openly highlighting one of the league's most sensitive issues, officiating quality. The reality is unavoidable. Viewership in 2024 exploded largely because of Clark. The Indiana Fever became the most watched team in league history. With that growth came increased scrutiny. Fans who never followed the league before started watching closely, and they noticed everything, including officiating inconsistencies. When your most influential player echoes those frustrations publicly, it increases pressure on the league to respond. Ignoring it isn't an option, but neither is allowing officiating to be shaped by social media reaction alone. That's the tightrope the WNBA is now walking. Clark's voice amplifies existing concerns rather than creating new ones. And as the league approaches a pivotal negotiation window, her willingness to speak openly, even during the offseason, adds another layer of urgency to conversations the WNBA can no longer postpone.
For this young lady, one comment that said, can't believe the Fever are almost at 1 million. They're definitely hitting that this year. I don't know if they'll hit it this year, man. I feel like Caitlin Clark got to come out and ball out for sure. She for sure got to come out and ball out. But the Caitlin Clark Foundation, like I stated, second to none. It's just great to see her doing this stuff for the community, for the kids out there, man. And I just wish more people would do charitable work, because it just really uplifts your spirit. One of the kindest things you could do to somebody, well, for somebody is give back. Giving back and happiness and just seeing people just doing great things, man. And I'm big on that, guys. I do a bunch of stuff here in my local city of St. Louis, too, with charity work. But it's just definitely.
This is where Caitlin Clark's influence becomes impossible to deny. She isn't just promoting causes in abstract terms or lending her name to generic charity efforts. Through the Caitlin Clark Foundation, she's actively involved in community outreach, and she documents it in a way that feels genuine, not staged. That authenticity matters. Fans can tell the difference between carefully scripted PR and real engagement. Clark doesn't just show up for cameras. She brings people along with her, sharing moments that feel personal and unsanitized. That's why her platform resonates so strongly. What makes the current moment especially compelling is the contrast. While Clark uses her influence to support communities and inspire younger athletes, she's also unafraid to publicly criticize things she believes aren't right. That referee tweet wasn't calculated. It wasn't strategic. It was raw frustration, and fans responded to that honesty. This puts the WNBA in a complex position. On one hand, Clark is driving unprecedented engagement and pulling new audiences into the sport. On the other, she's willing to challenge league systems publicly, including officiating. The league can't dismiss her concerns because she represents a significant portion of its momentum. But it also can't allow governance to be shaped by social media reaction alone. This tension will define the league's next phase. Clark isn't fading into the background. Her influence is expanding. And whether she's posting about charity work or officiating calls in college games, her voice carries weight. As CBA negotiations continue, that influence matters. Clark may not be speaking through official union statements, but her presence looms over every discussion about transparency, fairness, and accountability. The league's ability to navigate that dynamic will shape how sustainable this new era truly is.
To lose subscribers, I'm here to tell you guys the truth and bring you guys the news. Now, some of you guys want to leave, so be it, leave. We're going to continue to do other content over here. It's not just going to be the WNBA. So if you guys want to show interest in, staying and watch the other stuff, be sure to stay. Unlike other people, I don't just do WNBA content. But it is what it is, man. Let's jump right into this next story.
The frustration surrounding these discussions is real, and it's being felt across the WNBA community. One creator reportedly lost subscribers simply for offering honest analysis of the CBA negotiations. That reaction highlights a growing divide within the fan base, those who want transparency and those who only want positivity. But the negotiations themselves are too important to sugarcoat. The current CBA will determine player salaries, revenue sharing, travel standards, and the financial foundation of future expansion. This isn't paperwork, it's the blueprint for whether the league fully capitalizes on the Caitlin Clark era or lets it slip through its fingers. Players are pushing for a larger share of basketball-related income. They want better travel, better marketing support, and a system that reflects the league's recent growth. Owners point to massive investments, including hundreds of millions poured into expansion teams like the Golden State Valkyries, as evidence of commitment. But investment and compensation are not the same thing. Clark's role in all of this is unique. In some ways, she benefits least from the current system. Her endorsement income already dwarfs her WNBA salary. She doesn't need the league to thrive financially in order to succeed individually. And yet, she has more incentive than almost anyone to see the league improve. A stronger CBA doesn't just help her, it lifts her teammates, future players, and the overall infrastructure of women's basketball. Clark's social media activity during this period isn't accidental. It reflects awareness. She knows her voice matters. She knows the moment matters. The decisions made now will shape the league for years. Whether the WNBA chooses transparency, balance, and long-term thinking will determine if this era becomes a turning point or a missed opportunity.